Welcome, everyone, back. Thank you guys for staying tuned in. We have it all sorted now, and as you can see, actually, that is incorrect. You are not looking at Mess's face over there. That is actually Brett FX, and he is back now. So, welcome, Brett FX, everyone, not Mess. You're actually muted right now, Brett.
All right, how about that?
Awesome. We are good now, Brett.
All right, well, awesome stuff. Great to be here. I'm going to be in the color position today, guys, so that should be a lot of fun. Don't I
Yes.
kind of get to sit. You know what? I might just assume, be like, I'll be casting like this, just chillaxing back here. Be like, what's up? Yeah, they're doing that thing and that thing over there. Let Luca do all the hard work, heavy lifting. I like it. I could get used to it.
Awesome. As you can see, I've said it once before. That is not Mess. That is Brett FX. He's back now. Mess had to go play his own match. So we are back, though. We're going to be bringing you some more CEVO TV action of some BF4 Beta Cup tournament. The schedule is correct now. We're going to be having Monster 5 versus Faction Esports. That should be coming up here shortly as we're waiting for all the players to get into the server right now. So would you like to go over a little bit of the teams for us, Brett?
Yeah, so right now we are going to be seeing Monster 5 versus Faction. Now, in terms of the amount of time that these teams have played, Monster 5 has definitely had the more tournament experience or cup experience. They have played in the last few level BF events, as well as they've shown up for just about every one of their matches, I believe, for CEVO. So they have a little bit more time underneath their belt playing against teams that are seasoned within this. But that's not to say that Faction is going to be doing bad. I mean, Faction had a really good showing last week, or I'm sorry, last Wednesday, and did a really good job of holding on. And I gotta say that it's going to be an interesting matchup. They were really good in BF3. They had a lot going for them, and I would definitely expect some awesome stuff out of them for this particular matchup. Monster 5 has been doing really well. They've kind of I don't know. Monster 5 is kind of one of those teams where they do really well at some points, and then sometimes they just drop the ball. So it's going to be interesting to find out which team shows up today. But definitely be looking for Monster 5 to making some big plays. Faction is kind of a little bit unknown, but they will be a solid team.
Yes, as we can see, both teams actually sporting a nice 2-0 record, so this will be a battle of undefeateds coming up for you guys. And it is still round 3, so it's going to be Golmud Railway once again. So we'll get to see that same weird L-shaped configuration out of the flags that Mess was talking about. It'll be interesting to see the difference in playstyles here. Earlier tonight, we did get to see one game happened. CFC went down early, and they were just outshot and outplayed by an aggressive team here. So it'd be interesting to see what Monster 5 and Faction can do against each other, see if that aggressive outshooting will happen once again. And how close are we into the server now, Brett?
We should be getting going here pretty soon, as the server is going to be restarting. I am looking for somebody to communicate with. Not really sure if we're going live just yet. I believe all players are not in the server. Yeah, so we're still waiting for a couple of the faction guys to get in. But one of the things that I would like to talk about is the map. You touched on the fact that it is an L shape. Yes, it is. But the biggest thing that I want you guys to look at right now, or later on, is where they spawn. So we're going to be having the Russian team spawning over there by C, and that's going to give them direct access to obviously a flag, and they're going to have a lot better chance of getting over to that B point really fast. So most teams, what you'll be seeing if they spawn Russian side, over by the C flag, is that they'll send one or two to C flag to cap it, and maybe one over into dorms, and then they'll send 3 or 4 over into B flag. They'll get into gray house, which is probably the most important position on this map. It is the center building in between A and B. If you don't have gray house, you most likely will not be able to hold on to A or B flag. So it's really going to be important what the breakout is in this particular matchup. And if you're on the Chinese side, who actually gets the crappy spawn on this particular map, they're going to be way out into the open. They're going to be over by dorms, no flag next to them at all. And they have a choice. Do they flood A and try and take that with 4 guys and then one over into C, or do they try and flood C right off the break and cap that out and only send 1 or 2 over into A? Most teams will flood A flag. Reason being, guys, is because of the way the spawns work. They're not depending on what flags you have. They're dependent on where your players are at. So if the majority of your team is over on A and B, you can just about bet every single time that your enemy will be spawning over onto the C side of the map. And I'll tell you what, if you guys checked out the Exertus versus Epsilon match, Epsilon did an amazing job of keeping Exertus over onto the C side of the map. They were able to lock down the spawns over at A, and they were able to lock down B flag to where there was absolutely no back spawns at all. And in order to come out of C, you have to cross that street. And if they're positioned in gray building and A house, there's no way you can get across.
Yes. That would be interesting to see. We saw that a little bit in the first match tonight, but a little bit of an over aggressive play from A and B forced their team over towards C, and they were able to get the opposing team spawning behind them back at A, and it essentially lost that back cap behind them. So, as you said earlier with that Exertus match, they did well doing that. If these teams can control those 2 points and force the spawns to stay in the other sector, it could make for an interesting match, as the Exertus match was earlier. So let's see, how are we doing player-wise into the server?
Yeah, so we are just waiting on one player. Actually, what? Whoa! We got 6 players from faction here, so they're over here trying to get all the advantages they can possibly get. I don't know if they got the memo, but it is 5v5.
I think they want to play
So
eights, man.
we're gonna. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we did just get done playing tens, so they may have been like, "Oh, it was a tens weekend. We might as well just get everybody in here." But you
Yeah.
know what? This is 5v5, so we're gonna have to kick one of those guys out here pretty
Right.
soon. But yeah, and guys, we talked about the Epsilon Exertus match. If you have not watched that, you definitely need to check out tomorrow on YouTube, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/playcevo. Go check out that VOD because it was an amazing match. Came down to 6 tickets. Exertus with a comeback. They were down by 100 tickets, and they were able to make it back to 6 and win the first round. Unfortunately, within the second round, they had a little bit of a slip-ups, but I'm not going to tell you who won because it was also a very, very close match. I'll just tell you the ticket count came down to around 30. So definitely go check out that matchup. Epsilon being probably the top, I would say they are in the top 4 teams over in Europe right now.
Yes, they definitely. You guys need to check that out. And while we're still waiting here, and we're on the topic of checking stuff out, make sure you guys follow all the Twitch channels. That's going to be twitch.tv/PlayCevo, PlayCevo1, PlayCevo2, possibly 3 and 4 coming soon with more games. But we're on PlayCevo2 right now, so make sure you guys follow these channels. It'll let you guys know whenever we're going to come on, or I should say not we, but whenever Brett's going to come on with Mess and the rest of the Battlefield guys when they're on. And also the Twitter for CEVO. We have one of those. Facebook for CEVO also. Like on there. And below my name is going to be, or next to my name is going to be my personal Twitter account. So if I'm on doing anything, normally it's CSGO, you can find me that way when I'm going to be on. And as I said earlier, that is not Mess that you guys are looking at. That is not an optical illusion. He did not instantly get surgery and look like Brett FX now. That is Brett FX. We did not have time to change that. So he is here with us back to finish out these matches tonight. So make sure you guys stay tuned for this. And we should be relatively close now, as long as Faction got some of their players out there to allow.
Yeah, I believe this round is going to go live. We're going to be treating it like this round is live. And let's look at I'm going to look at the top tabletop here, Luca. If you want to look at the free cam and just check out the Chinese spawn, that's going to be Monster 5. Now they have the worst spawn here coming right out of the gate.
I'm actually needing server info still to this point. I do not have that yet. I've been waiting the whole time.
Oh no! So a huge blunder there by us. Sorry, guys. We're going to be getting that to you right now.
We are close though, guys. You will not miss much if you miss any at all. Actually.
Yeah. So I am going to be casting right now. You're not going to be seeing anything, but I'll let you know what's going on. So right now we are going to be seeing Monster 5 making a heavy push over into A. They ended up capping that out. Not going to be able to get C. Still 2 people going to be fighting it out. It's going to be Cold and Slickwit. And it does look like only 1 player left remaining. 4 factions going to be Chicken. He comes around the corner, able to trade out. So nice job there. The problem being is that they have nobody over onto the C flag. Now, if they're smart, they will basically make a bum rush for B and leave C out of it. But we will be seeing 3 players from faction going to be holding it on right now over into A house and into gray building. So they are going to be making a move onto A flag right now. But we will be having Prince getting dropped down upon right now by Clorox. We actually switched his name backwards, so that kind of threw me for a loop. But
I actually need
anyways,
to
Clorox is
interrupt
going to
you
be...
real quick, Brett. I do not have the correct server password, so I'm not able to join it yet. I did not mean to interrupt there, guys. We're going to have this up as quick as I can. I still need the password to the server so I can get up in there. Oh, there we go.
Maybe it was my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
There we go.
I'm sorry. But okay, so he's going to be getting in here, and now we're looking at a possible trade. Okay, so M5 was able to take A and B, which are the stronger flags on this particular maps, 229 to 233, still very, very close. And we are seeing that setup once again, like we were talking about earlier. Look at that. We're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players all lined up for Monster 5 in faction, playing very defensively over here. Only 3 players sitting back up over onto the C side, only 2 pushing up. That is actually a very, very big blunder on their part. They need to get some more presence over there onto the A burn here in just a second, which we'll be seeing some spawns going on. Jet is now going to be over here into A house. Prince is going to be spawning back up. He is on the flag, but Clorox is going to be back behind it, as well as, oh no, actually we just saw Sickwit getting taken down. And oh, Monster 5 with a nice pick up there onto Prince, and we are going to be onto the A burn. So it looks like Monster 5 able to keep that, and they will be holding their A-B setup.
I am actually having some extremely large visual errors right now, so I'm probably actually going to have to restart the game to get rid of this. I do not know why it's doing this.
Oh,
yes.
No.
Yes.
What is it doing? Hit escape. Hit escape and come back in.
Oh my gosh, you're an animal. We have fixed it. We are back now. It is gone. Able to see the game again.
Yes,
so
we are.
As
okay.
You said, if you want to get right back into that for us, Brett.
Yeah, so right now we are seeing a massive push over here from faction back behind B flag. They have to get onto this BA side. If they keep continuing over onto the C side, then they will not be able to get in control of this burn. It's 192 to 228 at the moment. And to be honest with you, this right here, if they keep continuing like this, they will lose the game. All M5 has to do, Monster 5, all they have to do is sit on this. That's all they're doing right now. They're just playing conservative.
With that smart play from them controlling that B and C spawn point right now, as you can see in the schoolhouse, rolling over there, getting a nice kill on a chicken there. That was a certain one. Oh, getting caught from the outside from behind though. But they are controlling B and C, playing very smart now. They are able to, their own team destroying me, but they are going to be able to control B and C right there and burn down chickens as they're getting kills. Actually coming across the board, very nice kills right here. As you can see, getting another nice jet going down. Sick with it. So M5 controlling those 2 points together, but they're about to be losing C over there on the far side, which is not going to be good for them. Actually, no, M5, yes, 3 cap happening now for the Chinese team, and that's probably going to fade away very quickly as they are about to lose A. Would you stay on the B and C cap, take on the safe play here, Brett, or would you go back to try and cap all 3?
No, this is exactly what they wanted here. If you're looking at the map right now, they take control of A. They have 2 players in Gray House. They have 1 sitting back, or actually 2 sitting back over there on the side street. So they're actually sitting really, really good right now. All they have to do is clean up B House, which they are doing. They ended up getting 1 pick, only 2 left remaining. And there they are. They are going to be able to get on this big burn. And this is the setup that they want. They want to have the A-B setup. Stay over in the Gray House and control it, and they will be able to get the cap. So that was a beautiful play, actually, even though it looked like they were going to be losing it to a triple cap.
Oh, excuse me. Losing my throat there. But they're about to be losing that A and B cap. As you can see, we have players from the Chinese team trying to push their way over from C. We have 1 up on top of that white building over there in kitty corner to C, trying to hold that down and make some shots happen. I don't know how well it's working for him. Actually, it's working extremely well as he just picked off 2 there. And they have taken C and B now. So the Chinese team is in position to try and push the Russians all the way back into A and try and do the adverse spawn that we were talking about with A and B holding towards C here.
Yeah, and that was actually a huge blunder there by faction, as we're seeing one player going, not holding his position over there onto A. We will be seeing M5 trying to push back over onto C, able to pick up Jet, who's making a slight little push onto C flag, but we're seeing faction just going down all over the place on the map. In fact, they're not even getting on the burn. I think it's only one player up. Yes. So that was a bad mistake there by faction. They let A and B go there. Now going to be in triple cap situation. We really see Chicken facing it off against 1-2 players over there onto B flag, but they did end up losing a very powerful position. They don't have control over onto Gray House. We do see another push over onto C, which I think they need to leave that alone.
Oof, as you saw there, Gold 45 losing a teammate and then trading the other player out from faction. He gets 2 right there. He's going to be able to get his teammate back up. So Monster 5, that's going to be Cold 45 over there. I believe that's the gray building, as you call it, if I'm correct, over in front of C right there. Holding it down for his team. They're in superior positioning as they have A and C now. Their flags are a little bit split up. I'm assuming Monster 5 is going to want to try and move away from holding A and C together and try and move towards A, C, and B, or A and B, as the flags are much closer and easier to control that way. But they are up right now. Monster 5 is dominating by almost 100 ticket points right now. 207 to 104. So faction really needs to step it up, as you see. Cold 45 with a nice kill there. So he is holding that down for his team as more players push going from behind in C. He gets taken down though in C. I believe that was what's that? Was that Jet that took him down from behind? But they did cap C from behind now. So good position with C and B in their favor as Monster 5 is slightly reeling now, only with A position.
No, actually, they just capped B, so they are sitting in the prime position now. They have 2 over in the Gray House. They have 2 into B House, which is sitting back behind the B flag. They have 1 over into A2, which is the building sitting closer to Gray House over there. And yeah, so that is just a very good position for them to be set up. Guys, take note because this is the best position that you can have pretty much for this setup. As we're seeing 2 players from faction going to be caught right out in the open. Now a third. The only player left over here is going to be Sickwit. And they are going to get on the play. That's a great play by faction. They will be able to get onto A, burn it down super fast. And if they force the players from M5 to spawn, which they have, so they force the spawns back behind C, and if they can get into B and in Gray House, they will be once again in a dominant spot.
As you see here, luckily they were able to spawn on teammates when M5 was anyways. Monster 5 being able to get back over towards that schoolhouse area and try and take B back as they're getting collapsed on right now by Sickwit. Excuse me, faction was pushing in on them. I believe that was Jet that came to the side. That was Unit getting a 2K right there as he took down CERN, and then he took down another Monster 5 player. Now, Monster 5 may be losing their B. Yes, they're losing their B right now. It's going to go back to the Russian team as you see here, Monster 5 taking A though, so they have the flag deficit. But they have the ticket points on their side as they are up 177 to 82 right now. They're going to be trying to work their way back over. As you see, lots of action over there. You see, they're trying to make something happen as we take a look from the Jet. Trying to get a gunfight going as he's shooting from that upper 2-story building there, trying to shoot down to the hillside spawn. And he's not going to make it happen. Monster 5 crossing the street as they take the spawn. They now have C and A, so they're going to try and work over and get that 3 cap at B if they are able to, but they will be met with quite a few players from faction. But the trades are going down. Ooh, Jet getting taken down on top of that building. So we are going to see an attempted 3 cap here as, no, A is going to go back to Russian, and B is also going back to the Russian side. So Monster 5 trying to get their way out of this and not let the Russian team burn on them.
Yeah, but it's not looking good right now for Monster 5. If faction can get another spawn over here into B House, they will be sitting really nice. Actually, getting a nice pickup there onto B. So there's, like I said, they're sitting in a really good position here. Faction needs to populate Gray House right now. We'll be seeing 2 players from Monster 5 getting onto the B burn. Unit is the only one left up. He sees Sickwit and not able to connect with it. So Monster 5 with a huge push there, able to take up B. And at this point, we might be seeing faction flash C. Yes, we're going to be seeing one going over to flash C, but already look at that. Monster 5 shifting over 2 players to control upper C onto Perch and in the C house. That is just a great communication there by them.
Ooh, as we see there, Chinese players getting into the schoolhouse gray building over there and trying to control that with 1 player as he's getting pushed by Russians though. So Monster 5 trying to take control of your gray house over there and hold that down as they have B and C right now, possibly getting back to C. Yes, they're going to be capping C. Ooh, they're getting contested over at C, though, as you see. So only 1 spawn point up right now, or 1 flag being taken. That's going to be the schoolhouse area at that gray building. But let's see what can happen over here now. We have CERN in that building, possibly getting into the gunfight right there. I believe that was Unit and Chicken that were over there on top of him. They're working their way into the B area, around that wall, into the schoolhouse. So they're going to try and fight, but the control is over in Gray Building, and they're going to lose that as A falls back to the Chinese and C goes back to the Russians. So B contested right now. Let's see which team can take control of that, as the lead is now 152 to 53 in favor of the Chinese team, which is Monster 5.
Yeah, it is. And one thing that I want to point out here are the KDs. We're seeing Monster 5 basically across the board. All of their players are really, really even on their KDs. They've been holding their own throughout their gunfights. If you look over on the faction side, honestly, the only one standing out is Unit. Granted, I mean, it's never bad to have, you know, a guy that just can carry your team, but that is one of the reasons why we're seeing Monster 5 taking such a commanding lead in this matchup, because they're winning their gunfights.
Yes, using their aim to their advantage right here. As we saw in the first match, it was a lot of aggressive play to take control of the map, and they just outshot the other team. So Two-Face Company was able to get taken down by superior positioning and out shooting. As we're seeing here, as you said, Monster 5 is using superior shooting to be able to move their way around the map and out-frag the other team right now and control the pace of the game. As you can see right there, that was Faction taking down, I believe that was Unit right there. Or, no, Faction Unit was taking down a Monster 5 player. So they are back to trying to get a hold of that B and C. As C is going down right now, it's about to get burned out. And A is already in control of the Chinese. Monster 5 trying to make it happen, trying to get back to a 2-cap right here. And they are going to be able to get back to that 2-cap as we're still following Unit, who's trying to prevent that C from getting taken down, but it does get taken down. So A and C under control of Monster 5. If you are the faction right here, what are you going to try and do, Brett, to try and salvage the end of this round and make this deficit not so big?
Honestly, right now, you're not going to be able to salvage it. It's already lost. The only thing that you can do is try and get a 2-cap, bleed as many tickets as you possibly can. In fact, I would say almost go for a 3-cap. If they could get a 3-cap and hold it for about 10 or 15 seconds, which is going to be impossible now, they could burn off about 20 or 30 tickets. But as we're seeing here, they're just struggling to get a hold of one. But we will be seeing A actually flashing right now. So here's their chance to burn about 15 or 20 tickets. It won't be a whole lot, but every ticket counts, guys, because this is not based on rounds. This is based on tickets. So even if, you know, if they lose this match, they have a chance to come back and win it in the next round.
So just for those that do not understand how this works, if they lose by 134 tickets here, or 133, 132, they need to win by at least one more ticket point on the second to be able to get a hold of that. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Fred? Yes.
That is absolutely right. And as we say, that is going to be over. Monster 5 taking A, and that is it. The burn and the bleed go in their favor. 133 is the ticket count that they have to beat, and that right there is actually not as bad as you may think. I mean, they may have been a little bit squirrely off of that. So I mean, every team has a little bit of jitters in your match jitters. I know of several teams that their first round, they always are bad. They almost always lose, or they basically only win by a few tickets. So that's not to say that Faction is out. And we have seen them come back against other teams and win their matches. So it is possible. But the thing that they have to do is control the A-B spawns. They have to get the A-B flags and force M5 over on the C side of the map. And they have to hold that for almost the entire game. The one good thing about this is that we will be playing at 250 tickets, not 200, which is the regulation for ESL. That gives them a lot more time than you may think to play with. It gives them a lot more tickets to play with and kind of feel it out a little bit more. So they can make a little bit of the mistakes, but honestly, they're not winning their gunfights, so they have to win on positioning.
Yes, as I'm seeing in Twitch chat here, apparently my motion blur is still on, which is a little bit different. It should have been off. So let's go see if it is off or on. Motion blur amount. Yes, that is not what we want. We want that down to 0. So there we go. No more motion blur for you guys. That was a little strange. So, but we're gonna get back.
Yeah, and actually we are not going to be going live on this particular match. Faction dropped a player, so we'll have a little bit of time to kind of space out here. While we're waiting, actually, let's go over what the map is. So if we're going to go over onto the B side of the map. So if you're looking at B flag right now, guys, the house that sits directly behind it, the little bitty house, that's going to be B house. that sits by the crate and by the fence. If you look over to the center of the map, that's going to be Gray House, okay? Because it is a very big and gray house. That's the one that we're talking about. Everything pivots off of it. And if you look at it from a top-down perspective, you can see just how important that is. Not only does it allow you to shoot from one side of the map to the other, basically all three sides of the map that you really need to be on, but it allows you to enforce all of those maps, because in Battlefield you can spawn on your squad. So you can go over onto B flag, spawn in, and if it's something, or I'm sorry, Gray House, and if something's wrong at B, spawn in, enforce it. If something's wrong at A, spawn in, enforce it. You can even go to C. So it's a very, very important spot to have. You can basically cover the whole entire map from that point. The other hot spot is going to be the A house, which is sitting right next to the A flag. That is A house. And that is also another important spot to have. Most of the time, you'll see only one player playing A flag because of the way the spawn system works. If they can control A and B, then really you only need to have one guy back here to deny the A spawn, which is actually going to be back behind tree over here, where the original Chinese spawn is. Now, next, we're going to go over to the 3 buildings that have no flags in them at all. This is what we call dorms. All 3 of these buildings are dorms, and that is going to be only contested. You'll only see people actually up into dorms if they have a CA setup. So if they don't have B, you usually see them sitting onto the dorms with the flags, and they'll get up into the second story and try and just shoot down into C flag to defend it. Other than that, dorms are fairly useless. And then of course over here onto the actual C flag, we have C building, which is right next to C flag. Back behind C, up on the hill over here on the mountain, that's going to be perch. That is another spawn. That's basically the spawn trap that the teams want to get into, or want to get the other team into. So when they cap A and B, they want to get them back here into a perch spawn trap, which is behind C flag. And that is pretty much the main call out. Side street is going to be behind A and B flag. That is back behind there. You're going to have obviously tower, which is the big electrical tower here, which we will be seeing a few back rages coming that direction. Not too many, because it does take you quite out of the map. And then you have B rock, or just basically step up. So that's going to be sitting outside of the fence over here onto B. It allows them to get in, easy access into it, and to get onto that flag.
Awesome. Thank you for the call-outs there. For those that did not know the call-outs there, I do believe I called a few wrong or incorrectly earlier in the match. But for those of you that have just joined that need to know the score here, the score is actually going to be in favor of Monster 5. I believe it ended up being 133 tickets to 0 was what it ended at, or maybe 132. Do you know for sure, Brett?
It was going to be 132, I believe.
Yes. All right. So right about 132, 133. So for Faction to stay in this game, they're going to have to get at least 134, 135, depending on what Monster 5 actually had in the first half. So, but we did see a very, very dominant performance from Monster 5 in that first round. So it'll be interesting to see what they do on the second half, as they do have a different spawn now. As you can see, Monster 5 is going to be coming in on the Russian side, and the Chinese side is going to be your team Faction, who's going to be at that far spawn. So Monster 5 with the quick spawn to C, they should, as you said earlier, break immediately towards B and try and get the 2-cap right off the bat. But the interesting thing will be to see what Faction does to try and stop that. Are they all going to break over to A, or are they going to have a split from A to C to try and prevent that? And it looks like quite a few of them are going to be breaking towards A, right down the middle of the road to try and catch the rotators. They're going to be trying to work their way to B from Monster 5. But the 2-cap is going to happen for Monster 5, as it generally does with the Russians that come across the entrance of this map, as they just split up and make it. So Faction only has A. They have to try and work their way around from behind to try and get over that roadway to B. But they're going to be trying to take control of that building right above A, trying to work over towards the gray building. And it's not really working out for them, as they're just basically getting stuffed right now by Monster 5 into that spawn over into A and B right now, which is not looking good for them.
Yeah, right now, I mean, honestly though, that is exactly what Faction is doing. They wanted to get an A-B push, which they are attempting to finish it out. The problem is right now is that M5 has recognized that they put everybody over here onto A flag. They were able to get a couple of really nice picks, initial picks, They will be seen on one-on-one back there by China Public and Sickwit. Not able to get the cap. We are going to be seeing A flag going into the favor of E5. Not to say that they'll get the cap. Now, Faction will be able to get B flag. If they can get some guys up into Gray House and hold this B flag, get some spawns going off, they will be actually in a fairly decent position to come back and win this game. Unfortunately, though, they decided to push over onto C, and now they are going to be having back spawns over there onto Perch, and they are probably going to be pushed out once again as we're seeing M5 pushing up into B. They did end up getting a nice pick over there into B house. And, ooh, actually Prince getting a nice 2 pickups over there onto side streets. He needs to be pushing over onto A right now. Not going back to B. Oh,
a nice pick over there at the schoolyard area as he was trying to make his way over and around to that wall. As we see here, we only have A that's under control of Monster 5 right now. B and C are being contested completely. As you see, players from both teams trying to contest C right now to try and take that home. That was, I believe that was China Republic taking down that Monster 5 player, and it was. As he gets traded out, though, ooh, another kill there from China Republic, trying to pick his teammate up. That's Faction Chicken trying to get picked up, but he gets taken down from the side as Monster 5 is going to be pushing in there. No, Chicken is still up. Monster 5 is going to be pushing from behind, though, trying to take C. They have A, and B and C both going, though, to the Chinese team right now. So Monster 5 is going to be fighting that burn right now. They do have a little bit of a ticket advantage for themselves, so they can take a little bit, but they're not going to want to do that as the Chinese team is ticking slowly and slowly closer to that 133 ticket mark right now.
Yeah, oh my god, so Faction was actually in a beautiful position and they gave it away. They had the chance to leave C alone and go for the A flag, instead electing to send 3 players over there to C to try and hold it back. They had the perch spawns for M5. They were back there behind C, and instead of letting them have it, they gave it up. And now we're seeing M5 with the AB hold, and I gotta tell you what, once it comes down to this, I do not see Faction coming back.
As they're going to be able to get those 2 flag burn right now. They're getting a little aggressive, trying to work out towards C, possibly trying to get that 3 cap or force a spawn. Right now, as you said, they are in extremely good position right now. And you see players trying to come up over that step-up wall that you talked about as M5 is trying to hold that circle, trying to hold that building and keep the schoolyard theirs. He gets the Chicken, gets traded out though as someone came up over for a step-up. Ooh, getting flanked there. Not good. M5 is trying to hold that B as that large push is coming at them from that side street over by the electrical tower. And right now, though, they're working their way down. The score is 213 to 186 as now the Chinese team has the 2 cap. So they're going to try and fight and keep as many tickets as they can. B getting contested once again by Monster 5. Score is now 208 to 184.
Yeah, and we are seeing Faction trying to hold on to B. They did end up cleaning up the 1 player that was burning the flag for them. Now, they're going to have to clean up Grey House, which they do it nicely. But at the same time, we are going to be having some back spawns over here. So this is when Faction should push A. They need to push A right now. They have 4 players from Monster 5 over here back behind C, about to be 5. They need to not send 3 players to A. They got to know that they're all over there by C. And they're going to give B up once again here if they do not get over there fast. We're going to be seeing GS and CERN1 already positioning to try to push in into B. 1 pick does go down, that's Prince. And Chicken's about to go down, so there you go. B flag is now going to be flashing. C is also going to be flashing, and once again, they're going to give up the chance to have the strong 2 flag cap.
And they obtain the 2 flag cap. Now, as we see, Sickwit is going to be moving over from behind, trying to take that house out from underneath them at A. He's going to try and work his way up the stairs right now and get a kill. He's going to get 1. Did he get both? Oh, he does get both. He gets the double. That was Chicken in Chinese Republic, so he's going to try and cap A from behind. This will give them a 3 cap right now, if he can do this quick enough. Oh, C is getting contested right now from players from the Chinese team, so it's not going to be a 3 cap. It'll rotate back to an AB 2 cap for them. As you see, Sickwit might be caught from the side, but he does not. Throws his med pack down, luckily, as players are spawning out there, and he's trying to get right there. Oh, a rocket launcher to the face. So the score is ticking down very, very fast here for the Chinese team. It is 155, 199. They got to stay above 133 to end this match and end up with the win. But at the rate they're going now, being 2 cap, they are fighting back, contesting B though. If they stay at a 2 cap and on this stage where they're using the gun battle, they're almost a double right there for GS, and he can't make it happen. He's sick with it getting the kill. They will win this match if the other team cannot do something immediately.
Honestly, at this moment right now, Faction have to play the perfect battlefield here, and that's just not going to be possible. I mean, they have to get a 3-cap and hold that off, get all of their reses and everything, and as we're going to be seeing it, 144 to 194 in favor of Monster 5, and honestly, they don't have the guns to back it up. They don't have the positioning to back it up. I mean, I just don't see it happening for them. M5, though, doing a really great job of taking back control. See, they're pushing down into B flag. They're putting 4 players actually onto B, and they're going to be slow pushing, I would imagine, back behind, trying to get some kind of a back rage going on. Cole is going to be sitting over into dorms to be able to provide a lot of cover for his teammates here. And Monster 5 just, I mean, not only did they have, for the most part, good positioning, but they've just been winning every single one of their gunfights.
Spawn bomb over there in the B schoolyard. Monster 5 trying to take that. The Surge going to get over there and get 2 of them. Jumping up over the boost wall, taking down 3 actually right there in the back. So good play from Monster 5 as the score is getting extremely close to being a loss here for Team Faction as they're down to 136. They have 2 spawn points against them though. That's going to be B and C double cap right now by Monster 5. Ooh, nice trade there. That was Teku getting the trade on that one. Sick with it now, following, trying to get over to A and just quickly finish on this. And I do believe that is going to be it there. Round 2 ticket count for Faction drops down below 127, so they are not able to win this, and the win will be going to Monster 5 now.
Yeah, that is basically the nail in the coffin there. There is nothing that they can do to come back and win that. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get the better positioning, and it comes down to the fact that they probably don't have the experience. As I stated before, Faction hasn't had the tournament experience that M5 has. M5 has competed in 2 cups already, as well as played in every single one of their CEVO matches. They've been scrimming since the beginning of Battlefield 4, and Faction really hasn't been around a whole lot. I mean, they have popped up here recently with the scrims. They're somewhat of a new team. They had a lot of guys actually leaving Faction and created a new team, so they have a lot of new members coming in. So, you know, honestly, it's not surprising that they did end up losing this. It's just sad that they lost it by so much.
Yes, this did not end up being very close right here. As we're taking away 2 flags from the Chinese, they're trying to keep it a little bit close, but it's a little too late as Monster 5 is going to take this one home. They already have the win here. The Chinese team cannot win by enough flags to get the round, because the first round of the game, they lost by, I think it was 133 is what we decided on, or 132. But they're going to try and fight back a little bit closer so it does not look so bad on the record. But Monster 5, extremely well done aim. Took control, did not get too aggressive. The 3 caps, I noticed, in our first match tonight. But when they held the 2 caps, they held them extremely well. And long enough to get a good little burn going, along with some kills there to try and dominate the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, honestly, the only reason you go for the 3 caps, Luca, would be if you are feeling confident in your gun skills and your initial positioning to hold on to that. So you go for the 3 caps to get that very, very fast lead, big lead. Or you go for a 3 cap if you're desperate. And honestly, Faction needed to get that 3 cap, not because of their confidence or their gun skills or anything like that, but they just needed it out of desperation. And they unfortunately were not able to make anything happen off of it. As you're saying, they are making a slight comeback here. But to be honest with you, M5, they know that they've already won the game. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. They don't have to be playing on par all the time. And, you know, it's just playing for pride right now. Faction's trying to make it, like you said, make it not look so bad on the final score when they, you know, put it up tonight. But unfortunately, they just weren't able to really to do anything with the frags and outpositioned by M5.
In this map, I'm seeing a little bit different well, I shouldn't say this map, I should say this match. Earlier in the early match tonight that we did, I saw a lot of AEKs and a lot of the ACWs. And now I'm seeing a little bit of an ace back play by this time. What do you think is the advantage to use the ace over the ACW?
Honestly, right now, you're going to be seeing 2 weapons really, or 3 weapons really popping up consistently in comp BF3 or BF4. You're going to be seeing Ace 23, AEK, and the L85. Now, the reason we're not seeing a whole lot of L85 right now is just because it's a brand new weapon. Most leagues have banned it because it is a DLC weapon, but it is basically the M16A3 of Battlefield 4. It is a very good gun. And guys, if you played BF3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is a laser beam, and it is amazing. So I would imagine that probably going to be seeing some more of those being used further on in the tournament, possibly. But right now, everybody is used to using the Ace. They're used to using the AEK. Now, something that I have seen some experienced teams doing, Exertus is switching over. 2 or 3 of their players are actually switching over to the Scar H. And maybe wondering why. Well, it does so much initial damage that it's, I believe it's like a 2-shot kill up close. So if you can get those hipfire sprays accurate and up close, you'll be able to win just about every single one of your gunfights up close. And plus, the distance damage with that is just so amazing. That you can basically pop heads and get those long-range shots very quickly and fast. And I gotta tell you what, one of the best guys with that right now are going to be Ravik from Exertus, who just was a boss today with it, and then Hitha was also doing a really good job with the Scar H. So the 3 most common weapons are going to be, like I said, the AEKs, the Ace-23, and eventually the L-85. But the Scar H is somewhat making a slight comeback within comp. Even though it's a slower rate of fire, it just does that initial damage that is just so worth it sometimes.
Oh man, lots of trades in that back alley right now. This is basically garbage time for these teams. It doesn't truly matter as the match is already won, but they're still fighting hard, as we said, for pride. And it's interesting to see that the Scar H is coming back and that you touched on the M16A3, because I do remember the heavy barrel silence for days. That was pretty dirty with that gun. That was pretty unreal.
Yeah. So, but once again, it is going to be a very close. Monster 5 kind of just taking it off a little bit. One of the things that we did see in this matchup that I haven't seen a whole lot in other matchups within this particular map is the use of rockets. So we saw Grey House basically being blown out almost completely to pieces, and then also B House getting shot up to where you can see inside of it. One of the things that I think teams need to learn, and this is still fairly new map for a lot of big teams, but one of the things that I think would be really good is if you get one engineer with either a small or some kind of a rocket launcher, and you just start blowing out key buildings that you think you're going to have a trouble getting them out of commission. So, for instance, if you're on the Russian side, you get the C spawn right from the break. Spawn with the rockets and shoot out a building and shoot out a couple of walls over in Grey House. That will give you, the basically an initial open lane to spam in that somebody's going to be there trying to shoot out of. So maybe seeing something like that here pretty soon would be, a future tactic I would like to see teams use, but I don't know.
It adds a definite, interesting degree of play to this, because it's not so much that your Grey House is so dominant for your team to be able to hold that whole middle area of the map, but the fact is, I can just blow that up for my team. I can just shoot rockets at it, 203s at it, until there's, as you can see here right now, if you look at it, the walls are open on it right now. So going in that building is almost basically like just standing out in the open. So, and they did it over to these A buildings too, also. Blew up the walls there, so that might have just been out of gunfights doing that, or they were just doing it so there was nowhere to hide. And as you can see here at Schoolyard also, that building is partially destroyed now, so it takes it away from being able to use positioning on someone and turns it into just a slugfest. You got to be out in the open and you got to be able to outshoot the other team. Even over at C, Hillside, that building is destroyed right there at the flag. So it takes away those spots inside the buildings. If you're able to blow those up, forcing the other team to either try and outshoot you or outthink you, and without having the buildings, getting that superior positioning is going to be very hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it opens up lanes. It's, I mean, think of it as like the opposite of what smoke does. Smoke basically closes down areas so that you can move across them freely. Well, if you open them up with the rockets, it's going to allow you to basically lock down those areas even better because there's no way for them to go into. And the other thing that we haven't seen these teams using, which could definitely be useful, is smoke. Nobody is using the 320 smokes or the hand grenade smokes. And honestly, I think that, nobody really has seen, or nobody has really, checked out the potential that could be used there. For example, the initial push coming out for the Chinese team, smoke with a couple of 320s down that lane to make sure that none of your guys die right off the break. Or if you're making an initial push across from C, smoke Gray building. If they take one guy that has the 320 smokes, he can still have his med pack, still have his 320s, and he can smoke all of Gray building and a house to make it across that area. And we haven't seen any of these teams shifting over and doing that. So, yeah, they're still kind of figuring out the maps, I think. They're still trying to figure out what's best, when to use certain things. So, I mean, it's still evolving. So we'll see.
As you said, it's very new still. I mean, it's not like something that's been out for 5 years where you can work on it and you work on it. You know exactly where to shoot a smoke over a wall. You know exactly which wall to pull up. All these guys are having to learn this stuff relatively on the fly here, depending on how much they scrim during the day. So as we go, I believe the strats and the way people play is always just going to evolve here. But the game is just about done now. We are looking about like 30-19. Monster 5 looks like they took their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and they're just trying to finish this out as Faction is still trying to get a piece. As you see here, Monster 5, though, scoreboard, every single player on their team is positive except for one player now, but two of them are not positive. Excuse me. But they're all close. But if you switch over to the Chinese side, there's some definitely negative scores there, or one, actually none. Wow. And actually, Faction is playing frag-wise a lot better, so just Monster 5 broke out early, were able to control without having to frag that hard to actually win the match. That's very, very interesting. They did not win the frag battle, but they won the match decisively first round. Second round, it's coming down a lot closer. But as we said, as soon as the Chinese team ticked under 133 tickets, the game was essentially over as they were not able to win. So both rounds are looking like they're going to go to Monster 5 as they're going to win their round 3 Golmud Railway match.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing about going by tickets, and it's kind of, the community is kind of split down the middle as to what to do. We have seen it to where it was round based, where no matter how badly you beat a team, if you won the round, you won that round. So you could have gone round 1 and lost it by 120, and then won the second one by 2, and it would still go to a third round to make, to decide who would be able to win it. Some of the teams, didn't like that because it really forced, the consistent teams had to be consistent all the time. Like, how would I say? If somebody just for whatever reason had a really good game and the other team messed up, they could lose it because of that. And it was kind of like, I can kind of see where they're coming from on it, but I also like the fact that there is the possibility for teams to have that fluke game, come back and win it, and not be decided by tickets. And that's something that we might be playing with here in the future. We don't know, because basically, if that was the case, then we could have seen Faction, even though they went below the 123 tickets, they still could have come back and played for a third round to decide who was going to be able to take that.
Yes. But that match is done now, guys. As you saw, Monster 5 took that home, and I do believe we are going to be coming back now. Are we going to be doing the Vindicated and